In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the brutal truth of competing in bodybuilding so you feel well informed on your decision to compete, so you know the risks and you're setting yourself up for as healthy of a contest prep as you possibly can, as well as a post-comp period, because that is truthfully where a lot of people will struggle. Not only do you have your pre-contest prep phase when you're in your off season, you have your contest prep itself, which can take a lot from your life, and you also have the post-comp period, which is a whole nother ball game within itself. My goal is to educate you and to make competing sound as bad as possible. So if you do decide to compete in bodybuilding, you feel informed and you're not going to be in for any surprises, because I've seen it time and time again. People will come into bodybuilding and they will have no background or eating disorder history, and they come out of it with an eating disorder. And I know what you're thinking. I'm very strong mentally. I don't have any past of that, and it's not like me to do that, but you will be very surprised. It is hard. There is so much that goes on when it comes to competing. So I want to make this video today so you can feel well educated if it's something that you truly do want to compete. There is so much to touch on. I'm going to try and get into this as quickly as possible. And of course, there's only so much that I can say as well, and everything isn't always it depends answer. The things that I want to be sharing with you today is things that I've seen from pretty much every single competitor. And whenever a new client comes to me, my goal is to always make competing sounds as bad as possible. And if they still want to compete and they tick all of my boxes, then great. I know that they are set up and aware of a contest prep and all the repercussions that can come from it. So let's talk about the 3 phases of a contest prep. The first phase is, of course, your off season. You're building muscle, you're bulking, you're going to be putting on some body fat, and that within itself can be difficult. Having to forcefully put on body fats in order to gain muscle, you have to go through a long period of time of being in a calorie surplus. We need to be spending most of our time building your calories, getting a little bit softer. That doesn't mean you have to get fat, but you are going to have to deal with probably a few of your family making comments saying that you're not as lean as you once were. Once again, don't get confused, you do not have to put on a whole lot of unnecessary body fat, but just a little bit that's going to support muscle growth and put you in the most optimal position possible to be able to build your calories and to be able to put on muscle. You want to be spending minimum 6 months here, depends on where you're at as well, but ideally even a few years. That is going to set you up for a really successful contest prep. And of course, you can run mini cuts along the way as well to still ensure that you're still keeping a lean physique and to cut down for certain events. However, you want to make sure that you're spending ideally a few years in your off season / bulk. This is where you're going to be building muscle. Remember, it's bodybuilding, not body shrinking. But of course, we cannot get on stage and not being in condition. So then what? Then we have to do our contest prep itself. Contest preps can be anywhere between 20 weeks to 30 weeks. Sometimes it'll be shorter if the athlete is naturally leaner. However, a lot of people have to go longer. I would say around 24 weeks is generally the sweet spot for a lot of people, and bikini competitors as well. Male bodybuilders or female figure competitors do typically have to go a little bit longer as well. It depends on the client's starting point, it depends on the end goal as well, but typically as well, it's better to have a longer contest prep rather than having to chase your tail at the end. So I'm talking, you've got at least 6 months of dieting, like hardcore dieting, and of course, everything within reason, and your calories will slowly get dropped and cardio will be introduced slowly, provided that you have a good coach who understands what they're doing and everything is structured. But regardless, even if you have the best coach in the world, me, DM me the word coaching on Instagram and we can have a little bit of a chat about how I can help you. No matter what, a contest prep is always going to be hard. You are eating in a calorie deficit for a lot longer than we would ever put a lifestyle client in. And you have to do more cardio than what you typically would normally if you were just dieting to look good for life. Getting in contest prep condition is hard. There is no easy way around it. Even if you have the best contest prep, even if you have a good metabolism, it's gonna be hard. You have to expect that. You're in an energy deficit for a long time. Your cognitive function is going to decrease, your libido is going to decrease, you're going to feel exhausted, you're going to be cold all the time with the leaner that you get as well, and not to mention, you're just hungry. Your sleep can be thrown off a lot. This is the phase that I think most people are pretty aware about regarding like the cons of competing and how hard like that can be and needing the discipline. But in my opinion, the contest prep phase, that's the easiest and funnest part. And a lot of people think that that's the hardest part, but that's where they get it wrong. That is the easiest part. The next phase, that is the hardest, and that is your post-comp. Because you finish competing, you've been working quite literally for years to get to your contest prep goal. You look amazing, you got shredded, regardless of what your placings were, you got in the best physical shape of your life. You worked damn hard to get there, and then you get off stage, then what? You have no goal to work towards. This is where a lot of competitors will get something called post-comp blues, which is where you typically get down after having that one goal that you've been focused on for so long, and then it just finishes. Your life almost feels meaningless when you don't have that goal, which is why I always emphasize the importance of having a goal in place before you even step off stage. You need to make sure that you already have your reverse diet protocols before you even step off stage, and you need to know what your next goal is. Whether you want to swap to a performance-based goal or you want to still stay lean for a certain photo shoot, like 6 weeks post-comp, that's always a really good goal as well to have. You need to make sure that you do have that goal that's going to help keep you accountable, because once you have that permission and to be able to actually eat whatever you want, and you don't have a comp goal where you're going to be getting on stage in a bikini that's so small that can fit in a Ziploc bag, then you're going to want to go and eat whatever you want. And there is no reason as to why you can't. You can. You've worked so hard, you can get there. But your metabolism at this point is not good. You can do so much in the first 4 to 6 weeks of your reverse diet. If you nail your reverse diet, you're going to be setting yourself up for a very successful off season. A reverse diet is a period of time where we increase your calories slowly but surely. The goal is to keep you still as lean as we can whilst building your calories as high as possible. But that being said as well, body fat gain, we're going to need to gain some body fat back. It can be really normal to feel a loss of self after you have competed, after spending so long working hard towards that goal, and then now you don't have that goal anymore. It's kind of just like, oh, like what's the point? So make sure that you do have a goal in place, whether it's performance or aesthetic related. And I just cannot emphasize enough of how important it is to really nail those first 4 to 6 weeks, because if you don't follow your reverse diet, you are just going to gain a whole lot of weight really quickly. Like, you will be amazed at how quickly you can get back to your quote unquote starting point or your bulk point, but instead you haven't built up your metabolism to be able to do so. Your metabolism is super sensitive. It's really easy to gain all the weight. And then because you haven't built up your calories, it's like you've gained the weight and then now you don't have a good metabolism to show for it at least. And like you don't even have the muscle, you've just gained body fat. So you've really screwed yourself over. Like I see this time and time again, people don't follow their reverse diet because they don't have their coach, and they will be working with their coach and then all throughout their contest prep. And then once comp is done, okay, ticked off my bucket list. Thanks for everything. Goodbye. I'll do it on my own. I know what I'm doing. I'm good. No, you are not good. This is like the most important time that you need a coach. And otherwise, sometimes you might still stay working with your coach, but naturally it's just hard to stay adherent. Like this is like where you really need the discipline. Just say to yourself, okay, first 4 to 6 weeks, I need to stay lean for this photo shoot. Once your calories are up at that point, generally you should be at a good point where you've got healthy enough body fat that your hormones are back to normal and that your calories are at a good point as well. This is the point that we want you in. And as well, moving forward from that, it can be just hard to gain body fat. Like, think about it. When you've been dieting for so long and then you see yourself get so lean to the point that you have abs and that you have veins coming out of your stomach, which is not normal or healthy for the average person, especially women. When you see yourself that level of lean and caps delts and all these new serrations that you haven't seen before, and then you go and start gaining weight back and then your abs are just gone and you just don't have any abs, and then it looks like you don't even lift because the body fat is covering the muscle that you have, and then you just look like you've lost muscle, gained weight, and then it looks like you've rebounded post-show, and then other people are kind of like, what happened? Like, you fell off track. We see this time and time again, and realistically you didn't do anything too crazy. It's just that you didn't really stick to your reverse diet that well, and your metabolism was that bad after dieting for so long that your body's just so sensitive, it's so easy to gain weight. And I get the struggle. I've been there myself. I've been competing my entire life. I've been through every single post-comp promotion that you possibly can. And it can be really, really difficult. Like, you can have some dark days where your body image will just take over. your entire day and your thought process. I totally understand how tough it can be. I've been through all of those phases, and I'm just so glad that, you know, after doing so many contest preps, like, you do get to a point where it does get easier, but no matter what, like, it's always hard. Like, even after I won my pro card, it was still hard. It was a lot easier, and it gets easier each time, but I got even leaner that prep, which means just like when you pull an arrow back, the more that you pull it back, the leaner that you get, the harder that rebound's going to be. Same kind of thing. So I understand how difficult it can be, and this is why I want to educate you and just like really want you to put yourself in a competitor's positions before you decide to truly compete. And if you, after you listen to this and you're like, actually no, like I still want to compete, then great, we can have a chat. But just be prepared, because you're going to get to a point where you have abs, and then you're going to get to a point where, unless you're genetically really lean, you're probably not going to have abs after, and that's okay. You're not supposed to. It's not healthy. You want to be getting your period, you want to be healthy, you want to be performing good in the gym, you want to be able to gain muscle again, you want to improve your physique. Once again, bodybuilding, not body shrinking. You need to spend most of the time in a build phase and gaining muscle. And it can just be really hard after you've seen yourself so lean to just not be that lean, and you constantly compare yourself 24/7 to not other people, but the old version of you and your own photos, which is, I think, is almost even harder than comparing yourself to someone else, because you know you can be that person. You've actually seen yourself like that, and it's really hard because when you're in prep, everyone gives you all of these compliments and congratulations, you did amazing, you worked so hard, you look so good, and then all of a sudden, like, you don't get those comments anymore. If anything, people are like, what happened, you know? But you can't eat that, you know. So it can be quite a bit of a mind F, to say the least. So once again, I just want to make competing sound as bad as possible. So if you do decide to compete, you are aware of all of the risks. So those are the three main points of a contest prep that I just really want you to be aware of, is that pre-prep phase where you're in your off-season and build phase, your actual contest prep phase where you're dieting, and that post-comp phase where you're regaining the weight back. All three phases has its challenges. They all have pros, and of course there are amazing things about competing itself. But I do believe that bodybuilding is over glamorized. And this is coming from someone who is a contest prep coach. I'm a professional bikini competitor, and I've been coaching for over 10 years myself. I love this sport. I first competed at 14 years old, all the way up until I was 20, once I won my pro card, and I've been coaching athletes since I was 15 as well, working in the gym. I left school early. It's a whole story. Go check out my Instagram. You'll kind of be able to see my journey. I've been doing this for a very, very long time. Even though I'm young, I'm old in the industry, I promise. So I've seen it all. I've worked with hundreds and thousands of athletes, and I've seen people in the industry today and gone tomorrow. But it's really important that we set our clients up for success and give them as good and as healthy and a realistic expectation of what to expect in bodybuilding. If I'm saying this as someone who absolutely loves the sport and has been doing it her whole life and grew up in bodybuilding, as someone who says this, like, that's saying a lot, okay? So someone who's new to this or new to the fitness industry, like, you can imagine the kind of weight that can carry on someone who isn't as involved and has as much passion as I do for the sport. So once again, just really making sure that you're informed and you understand of what you're kind of about to put yourself into, because it is over glamorized on social media, and I really do believe that most people should not be competing. And I'm so selective with who I take on when it comes to competing. Like, it is a really 1% type of person, and I just make sure that we get them in the best position possible to be able to succeed. But even when we do all those things, there can be still repercussions, risks, and you know, it's still going to be hard through every single phase. But it's my job as a coach to be able to take them under my wing and to be able to give them the best possible outcome, and to ensure that they are enjoying it, because we love bodybuilding and we want them to be able to come back more and more and more, and not just have it as like a bucket list thing. Bodybuilders, we're in it for the long run. It really is just you versus you, and that's just my other take on that, is just making sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Make sure that you're doing it for yourself, and you can't go in it with the expectation to win either. As competitive as you are, you just have to go in there making sure that you've done everything that you can, and anything else on the day is just an added bonus. But I do love bodybuilding, so please don't get it twisted and don't be too scared off either. If anyone has any questions, honestly, just send me a DM. I'm so happy to answer anything. And make sure you do check out my podcast as well. I do have a lot of episodes on competing as well, especially with the president, Jason. It's one of my top rated podcasts is with Jason, the ICN president of Queensland. And we've done a couple good episodes on that now. So make sure you do go check that out if you want some more information around competing. And if there's any other topics that you guys want me to chat about, let me know. But I just want you to listen to this before you compete and send this to a friend as well who is interested in competing. It's really important that you do listen to this. And there's so many other things that I could touch on when it comes to competing as well. Like it's a really never ending list that I could continue diving into. But do your research, and I wish you best of luck if you do decide to compete. Let me know in the comment below what federation you're competing in. And thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.